It's taken a little longer than he originally hoped, but Rishi Sunak arrived at Conservative HQ this afternoon to be welcomed as the party leader and the man who will now become Prime Minister. Just over 6 weeks ago, he lost a leadership contest. Today, he's the winner.
I'd like to pay tribute to Liz Truss for her dedicated public service to the country. She has led with dignity and grace through a time of great change and under exceptionally difficult circumstances, both at home and abroad. I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues and to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to. The United Kingdom is a great country, but there is no doubt we face a profound economic challenge. We now need stability and unity, and I will make it my utmost priority to bring our party and our country together, because that is the only way we will overcome the challenges we face and build a better, more prosperous future for our children and our grandchildren. I pledge that I will serve you with integrity and humility, and I will work day in, day out to deliver for the British people.
This morning, Rishi Sunak knew he was poised to be the next Prime Minister, but he still didn't know if his rival Penny Mordaunt had the backing of 100 MPs to force a contest. Then at 2 o'clock, the announcement came.
As returning officer in the leadership election, I can confirm that we have received one valid nomination.
Moments before, Penny Mordaunt had conceded defeat, saying her fellow MPs had been looking for certainty today. As a result, we've now chosen our next Prime Minister. This decision is an historic one and shows, once again, the diversity and talent of our party. Rishi has my full support. And Rishi Sunak's backers say he's the leader they need now.
All these things we talk about that we want to do, the levelling up, the economic stability, the restoring prosperity to our regions, they can only happen with that calm and stability here in Parliament, and that's what Rishi offers.
For the second time this year, Penny Mordaunt had missed out on the top job. Her supporters say now it's all about unity.
Clearly, this election, we did our best. We didn't quite get those 100 votes. We were pretty close, I understand, but not quite there. However, that is water under the bridge. The most important thing now is that we've got to come together, we have got to unite, and we will do. I have no doubt about that.
This had become a two-horse race after Boris Johnson pulled out last night. After flying back from a Caribbean holiday, he claimed to have the required 100 backers, but he decided, for the sake of party unity, that he wouldn't run. So instead, he will be the new Prime Minister, the third in 2 months. For now, it seems Rishi Sunak does have the backing of his MPs, and he'll need to hang on to that if he's to avoid the fate of his two predecessors.
So that's what's happened in the last few hours. And just to let you know, Andy and me, we're on Downing Street. There's a lot of the world's media here. There's lots of people at the end of the street as well. And one or two people, Andy, shouting general election now. Is that even an option, do we think?
Well, it's not an option as far as Rishi Sunak is concerned. Behind closed doors, he's already said to Conservative MPs he doesn't want to have an early election. He's trying to rule that out. He doesn't have to have one until 2024. Under our parliamentary system, he's become the leader of the Conservative Party, the biggest party in the House of Commons. As long as he can command a majority in the House of Commons, he can stay as Prime Minister without an election. But, as you say, lots of people are saying, hang on, you're now changing Prime Minister for a second time without having an election since the previous one in 2019. You should really have a general election. Labour have been making that point, and we've also been hearing today from the head of the SNP, Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon. This is what she had to say.
The Tories keep thinking they can change a leader without any reference to the public. It is not acceptable, it's not democratic, and it's not sustainable. Meanwhile, these same Tories deny the mandate my government has to offer Scotland an alternative to yet more years of Tory austerity. So the Tories have lost any economic credibility, but they have lost democratic credibility as well.
Labour thinks that we should be having a general election. I think everybody who I've spoken to, the public, have said we should be having a general election. There is no mandate now. The Conservatives have completely broken their promises, broke our economy, and now they want to see a general election. They can't just keep doling out prime ministers every month because they're in total chaos and they've lost control of the market and haven't got any ideas of how they're going to tackle the cost of living that people are facing.
So those, Andy, some of the views from outside the party. What about inside the party? Because how did we get here in the last sort of 24 hours? Because everybody will have seen what happened to Boris Johnson, and then Penny Mordaunt withdrew today as well. Were there deals going on in the background, or they just not have enough support with their own MPs?
Well, there's certainly been some talks. We know that, for instance, Boris Johnson met Rishi Sunak on Saturday night. But I don't know if there have been any specific deals. Certainly Boris Johnson, in his statement last night where he ruled himself out and said he wasn't going to stand, he said he'd reached out to both Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt in the hope of creating some sort of party unity, but it hadn't come to pass. So it sounds from what he's saying as if there's no deal there. Penny Mordaunt, I don't know, but the fact is, in the end, neither Boris Johnson nor Penny Mordaunt got the required number. Well, Boris Johnson claims he got 102. You know, all I can say is there's a lot of scepticism about whether he really did get that number of backers. Penny Mordaunt's supporters are saying she got very close, and certainly she stuck in the race as long as she possibly could today until the last minute, but didn't quite get there. So in the end, Rishi Sunak didn't have to do any deals with anybody because he was the only one who got over the line, and therefore maybe either Penny Mordaunt or Boris Johnson will get jobs from Rishi Sunak. But as far as we know, no deals were done, and he doesn't have to.